Tax Minute. This is Tony Novak here to share a few points on how to stay out of tax trouble. Let's jump right in. Today's topic is errors and omissions, duty versus recommendation. So what we're talking about, an error is when you're working with a tax professional, a tax preparer, a CPA, an attorney who finds a mistake on your tax return. And by the way, I don't know that I've ever looked at a complex tax return and didn't find an error of some type. It is very, very common, and so that's what we're talking about. An omission implies something perhaps a little more serious, where there's omission of income often, and we notice, hey, this could be a problem. So the very first thing your practitioner needs to look at is their obligation set forth by IRS, of which not following that basically can get us kicked out of our licensure position or penalized or worse. So I'm talking about what's referred to as Circular 230 of the Internal Revenue Service. It guides all professional tax preparers and advisors. And there are other standards. There are AICPA standards and there are enrolled agent standards. But let's stick to the basic for this program today. And I don't normally do this, but I'm going to read the short paragraph. A practitioner who, having been retained by a client with respect to a matter administered by the Internal Revenue Service, knows that a client has not complied with the revenue laws of the United States or has made an error or an omission from any return, document, affidavit, or other paper in which the client submitted or executed under the revenue laws of the United States, must advise the client promptly of the fact of such noncompliance, error, or omission. The practitioner must advise the client of the consequences as provided under the code and regulations of such noncompliance, error, or omission. What are we talking about? When I find an error, I have to tell you I found an error. I also have to do that promptly. Can't wait well into the engagement. But I don't have to do that before we have an engagement. If I've looked at your tax return and I'm not officially working for you, don't have to tell you. Once we're engaged, I have to tell you promptly, and I have to tell you of the consequences of that error. Basically, if you get caught, you're in deep doo-doo. That's basically it. Here's the point of tonight's Tax Minute. The guidelines do not say that I must recommend or insist or that you fix the error or quit if you don't fix the error. That's not part of it. I see that misunderstanding often in tax practice, and there are practitioners who will not continue an engagement where they know that there's a serious omission. Most practitioners will clearly document that they followed the law, but the decision of how to handle an error or an omission is always up to you, the taxpayer. We'd love to hear your thoughts or experiences on this. I'm easy to reach in the social media comments or talk to me one-on-one. You can find me at taxproblems.cpa. I'll be back tomorrow with another Tax Minute.